Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Let's Talk Thursdays podcast. My name is BrendenPlayz, and of course this is the show where you can leave questions for me to answer every single week, and of course you can leave a question in the YouTube comment section down below, or of course over at our Facebook page, and that is facebook.com/BrendenPlayz. Well, Extreme Rules is coming your way for Universe Mode this weekend. I've been busy, slowly working away, getting that done, making sure I get all the rest of the episodes up and ready to go for you guys to watch before Extreme Rules. And the next few days is basically going to be me working on Extreme Rules and trying to get it finished. It's looking really good. I think the show is going to be a little shorter than usual, which I'm actually quite pleased about. I'm a little annoyed that the show keeps going around about 2.5 hours. That 2-hour mark is the sweet spot for me. I like that. So it looks as though we might get around that time this time, which is great because we have a couple less matches than normal. So Extreme Rules is looking pretty good, and of course it's going to be live on BrendenPlayz at Sunday, 12th of March, I believe, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. UK time. And I believe now, are the clocks going back for America? I need to kind of check that up because I think the clocks are turning back and daylight savings is now over, or it will be over, so I myself need to get my own time right, otherwise I could probably get it wrong. So let's hope I don't do that. There's probably a big chance that I will, because I'm kind of working 1 hour in advance in recent times, so I need to try and look that up. So I'll keep you guys posted. But that's the plan for the week. That's what I've been up to, trying to get Extreme Rules done. Of course, this week on the show, we're going to talk about Fast Lane, and a quick spoiler, I thought it was abysmal. And I'm generally pretty positive. I mean, I don't consider myself to be negative, or we're not a real negative podcast. There's a lot of negative wrestling podcasts around. Let's not beat around the bush. There's a lot of people that can't find a single thing good with Raw or Smackdown or any of the pay-per-views. But I feel as though I'm pretty good. I feel as though, I'm pretty fair. If something's good, I'll praise it. If something is bad, no doubt I'll say that it's not any good. But I have to say this time around that Fast Lane was just the drizzling shit. It was not good. So we'll talk about Fast Lane, and of course all the fallout of Fast Lane. We really are starting to find out what's going to go down with Wrestlemania. So we're going to talk about Wrestlemania and all the new matches I guess have been announced. Plus we're going to follow up a little bit on our TNA discussion. Well, I guess they call it Impact Wrestling now, aren't they? So Impact Wrestling discussion this week with a bit of positive news. Last week we kind of trashed TNA. This week we're going to hit back with a few positive things because I'm really liking what they're doing. So that'll be some spoiler discussion there. And of course some Ring of Honor news as well. So we'll talk about that. But first, before I get into it, a little bit of gaming discussion. PlayStation Plus released a couple of free games, as they always do every single month. And PlayStation Plus gets a real bad rap. I mean, a lot of people say the games suck on there. And for the most part, I absolutely agree. Probably ever since the PS4, it's been pretty lackluster. It's probably been, a handful of games really worth playing, for the most part. So it's been pretty disappointing. But in the history of PlayStation Plus, it's been terrific overall. In fact, it's been amazing. It's been awesome. It's been, fantastic. I've been on PlayStation Plus, I want to say since 2011, for a long, long time. Maybe even 2010. I don't know. I got it like a year after it first initially came out, and I have not unsubscribed ever. I think it's been terrific. But the reason why I bring this up is because this month they released a game called Disc Jam, I should say. And I want to say this game, if you played Rocket League, you'll know what Rocket League is all about. But this game is very similar to Rocket League, and it's so fun. So all you guys who have PlayStation and PlayStation Plus, when you get on your PlayStation Next, download Disc Jam. You're not gonna regret it. It's basically a little bit like tennis. You get a disc and you throw it across the line, across the net, I guess you could say. And, you can play in singles or doubles, and you have to try and score points by getting your disc to the end and hit the end line. So you have to try and get it past your opponent. Basically, it's pretty simple. Pretty easy, but it's very, very fast-paced, very chaotic, and super fun. I mean, just go check out the trailer for it, or give it a try for yourself. You're not going to be disappointed. It is really, really fun. I just got off playing it for, maybe 4 or 5 hours. The only problem that I had is that I found some troubles finding a game. But because it's so new, and I think a lot of people haven't really given it a chance, that's going to be the case. But I just want to get the word out about this game, that it's so good that you need to go ahead and play. You need to give it a check out. I mean, it's an indie game. Only, I think, a couple of developers made it. So support this game, because I think it could blow up just like Rocket League did. Because this game, I personally think this is just as good as Rocket League. I think I've enjoyed it more than Rocket League, and I really enjoyed Rocket League for a good period of time there. But I'm super enjoying this jam, and it's so fun. And they're going to add more game modes, more maps, everything like that in the future. So that's something to really look forward to. Right now, it's a bit of a bare bones edition. There's no new maps. There's only one map, I should say. There's 4 characters, whatever. But they'll improve on that as time goes by. So absolutely check that out, and that's my recommendation for the week. I also got Horizon Zero Dawn. Did I say that right? Horizon Zero... I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. I get the name mixed up. I got that this week. I haven't downloaded it yet, so I haven't played it, so I can't let you know. I also got the Nintendo Switch, as I talked about last week. We're going to give a quick little review on our Fast 5 segment. I'm going to bring it back. I liked it last week, the Fast 5 segment. This time we're going to, 5 minutes, 5 questions. That's what it's going to be. We've got 5 questions again, so we can talk about that in a moment. But, so definitely Disc Jam. Check that one out. So that's my recommendation for the week. I've continued to watch some more old Raws and Smackdowns from the 2005 era, and I want to say a quick thank you to a few of those who were in the comments commenting saying, hey, you've given me the inspiration to go back and check out my first year of wrestling and check out the pay-per-views and some Raws and Smackdowns from those shows. So if you're one of those, that's awesome. I'm glad that I gave you the idea to go ahead and do it. So basically what I did is I started rewatching 2005 WWE, both Raw and Smackdown, and all the pay-per-views, because now it's on the network, I can do that. Very, very easy. It's actually giving me a bit of a use, a bit of my money's worth, I suppose you could say, from the network as well. But I've been loving it. The Royal Rumble 2005, when Batista won. I'm a huge Batista fan, so that was awesome. We've seen Randy Orton and Triple H. Even the Big Show is actually really awesome in this era. I'm really enjoying the Big Show. Kurt Angle's on fire. I think I just watched Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit in a match. So some terrific matches. I think the previous episode of SmackDown was Booker T and Eddie Guerrero in the main event. So some really, really good matches. Yeah, there's a few guys that are kind of shitty, like Maven and Snitsky. They're going to be pushed. Heidenreich, just had a massive Royal Rumble match. Had a casket match against Undertaker in 2005. He's absolutely awful. Heidenreich sucks so bad. But so it's a bit of that. It's it's really interesting. It's just a lot of fun to go back and watch at a period of time where a lot of my favorites were still wrestling in 2005. And I started watching wrestling in 2005 in October. So it was really great to go back and watch, start watching the period of time in 2005 that I missed, that I didn't watch. So if that's a bit of a similar circumstance to you, or you just want to go back and rewatch the glory days of what got you into wrestling, that's another one of my recommendations. So that's also what I've been doing. All right, so we'll move on, and we're going to kick the show off with this week's Fast 5. So, look, like I said, 5 questions, 5 minutes. Just basically, we'll try to get through some questions quickly. Just kind of rattle them out real quick. So, first question, should you buy the Nintendo Switch? My answer is no. You shouldn't buy the Nintendo Switch yet. I think the Nintendo Switch is definitely worth the buy in maybe a year's time, but right now, there's no games. Zelda, I've played some of it, and it's really, really promising. I probably put, maybe 4 or 5 hours into it. I'm enjoying it. The only other game I have is 1-2 Switch, which my girlfriend and her family and we played for, probably 4 or 5 hours as well. We played a lot of it, all the games on it. We tried them all out, and we had a blast. It was actually super fun. It's a terrific party game, but you're not going to get any value. In fact, I don't even think you can play it by yourself. You need someone to play it with. So you're not going to get any value out of that if you're a solo gamer. So there's not a lot of games there. So I would definitely probably avoid until there's more games to play, aka Mario Kart, etc. Should this year be Undertaker's last? Should this be the last WrestleMania for The Undertaker? Look, I would say no if he can do another one. I think Undertaker is a legend, but I think you've got to build up his last WrestleMania for a long time. 3-6 months, say, hey, this is Undertaker's last WrestleMania. He is retiring after this one. That's it. He's done after this one. And just a random, out of the blue, 4-week build-up to a Reigns and Undertaker, maybe even Strowman's in there as well. Who knows? That just doesn't do Undertaker justice. So if he can do another one, he needs the proper build-up. And you need to build it as his last match. This is it. Undertaker is done. You need to build it as that. And I think you'll get a lot of extra buy rates because of, subscriptions, whatever you want to call it, because of that. Will Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar be longer than 5 minutes at WrestleMania? Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I think we've seen Goldberg wrestle for a total of 5 minutes. If you take away the Rumble, it's been, 2 minutes? It's been a joke, really. He's wrestled for 5 minutes. He's now the world champion. I can understand why people are pissed off, why people are mad. I think it's fair enough. I think it's a little silly that he won the championship. And I've been saying for weeks that match, Lesnar and Goldberg, is not going to do any better or worse because it doesn't have the championship involved. But will it be longer than 5 minutes? I think so. I think it might hit around that 8-minute mark. I think, 8 minutes, maybe 10 tops, and that'll be it. Which, is pretty shitty for a WrestleMania main event when you think about it. Am I excited for WrestleMania? Look, I'm always excited for WrestleMania. It's always great. Last year's WrestleMania was pretty bad. This year's WrestleMania, I think a lot of the things that I was really hyped for, they've kind of taken away a little bit. I'm liking Randy and Bray. I think that's going to be fun. Triple H and Rollins, we don't know. I mean, they're saying yes, it's going to happen, but who knows what condition Rollins is going to be in. Can he do the match properly? Undertaker's on his last legs. He's struggling. And now Goldberg and Lesnar is for the championship. Yeah. I thought Jericho and Owens was going to be a massive match, 20-25 minute match. But now, since it's not for the world title, it could get cut down to 15 to 20 minutes tops. Could impact the potential of that matchup. So, yeah, look, I don't know. And the women's match, I'm not looking forward to it all. I'm kind of really tired of Bayley and Charlotte and Sasha versing each other all the time. So a lot of matches I'm just kind of not feeling 100%. But I will watch WrestleMania and I will be excited for it. But perhaps not as excited as I have been in recent times. And final question, the Fast Five: are brand exclusive pay-per-views failing? Well, it's hard to say if they're failing because we don't really get the reports nowadays. We don't really know what buy rates are and how much a exclusive pay-per-view or any pay-per-view does for buy rates significantly. I mean, because it's kind of hard to gauge because I think people, yes, are getting getting the network for pay-per-views, but a lot of people are getting it for the whole package. So it's kind of hard to gauge. But I don't think they're failing. I think Smackdown's had some good ones. I think Fast Lane, like I said, was pretty bad. But I just think Raw in general is bad. Just Raw overall is just a bad product, just a bad brand. So I think Smackdown, what was their last pay-per-view? Elimination Chamber. Yeah, it wasn't the best either. So maybe they've had a few duds, but I guess that's expected with the brands split. But Royal Rumble was okay. So we'll see with WrestleMania where the show quality is, and we'll kind of gauge it from there. That's the Fast Five. So we'll move on to Fast Lane, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. But Goldberg. Well, Goldberg wins the Universal Championship. 21 seconds, I think was the time, maybe 22, whatever. It was short. Let's just say that. Kevin Owens. I was kind of thinking to myself. I don't know if I put a tweet out, but I was thinking to myself. I think the entrances are going to be longer than the match, and it was. Kevin Owens kind of went in and out of the ring, teasing it. I think just to draw it out a little bit, just to, so they're not out there for 1 minute and that's it, just to give it 5 minutes in total. It's pathetic. Look, a main event of a pay-per-view and it goes 20 seconds. Fair enough, you do it once, shock value. But you do it again, just makes Kevin Owens look like a goof. I get it, distraction finish, but still, you kick out of one jackhammer, one spear, make him look, kind of tough. So I just think it kind of ruins Kevin Owens a little bit. And he was building up some nice steam. Kevin Owens coming off it wasn't a heel turn, but it's like he he turned on Chris Jericho and kind of started that up again. And, just all of a sudden, Kevin Owens was getting back to his best, getting back to the character that, made him so great down in NXT and, on the independents and everything like that. The character that people were really enjoying, and something that's been taken away from him ever since he won the championship. So he was starting to build some steam, and now it's all been taken away from him for Goldberg. And Goldberg's reaction on Raw was not great. And look, to be honest, I missed a good portion of Raw. Good reason why. I had a good reason. I was at the hospital. Not because of me, but, I missed most of it. I went back and watched, majority of it, but I didn't really see much of the Goldberg segment. But I did hear that CM Punk chants just kind of ran straight through the whole arena. And I'm not surprised. I mean, come on. They're in Chicago. What do you expect? But, look, it's not good. I'm starting to wonder, I'm starting to fear that Goldberg and Lesnar could turn into Goldberg and Lesnar from, WrestleMania 20 in 2004, when that match was just a complete disaster. It is getting very likely that it could be a repeat, if not even worse. I think the crowds these days are even worse. Back then, I mean, still Goldberg and Lesnar, this is a big matchup. And I think some people would have been like, maybe like the casual fans might have been into it. But I don't know, maybe now that, are we even going to get a 5-minute match out of these guys? I don't know. I think a lot of people are just frustrated at the moment, frustrated with the idea. I think if there was no title on the line, I think they would have been more forgiving. This is an attraction. This is an attraction match, 2 stars coming back. Well, Goldberg coming back and, having the match that they had all those years ago, kind of reigniting the rivalry. Fair enough, have this matchup and be done with it. But I guess when you put the title on the line, it just makes the match, much more important, and you kind of build the WrestleMania show around it, and you kind of expect big things. You look at the world title matches, you got to expect a big deal. And I think more than likely, this is going to be the match that closes out WrestleMania. So this will be the main event of WrestleMania. And I know people say, well, it's going to be Randy and Bray. It's not going to be Randy and Bray. It's not going to be Randy and Bray. It's going to be Goldberg and Lesnar for sure. Because, they are way bigger stars than Randy and Bray. So this match is going to be big. It's going to have a lot of emphasis on it. It's going to be very, very important. But I think if it's, a shit show, then I think a lot of people are going to leave WrestleMania pissed off. A lot of people are going to, stop watching WrestleMania, and the last thing they're going to remember is that Goldberg and Lesnar match, and if it doesn't live up to expectations, if it's not any good, if it sucks, then there's going to be a lot of negativity towards it, and I think it's going to be hard to recover. I think they backed themselves in the corner anyways. Goldberg, is he going to have another match after WrestleMania? I highly doubt it. I mean, it's possible he might extend his run to SummerSlam and hang on to the championship. But wouldn't that just bury Brock Lesnar? Not bury him, but really derail all that time and money spent on just making him the freaking man. For Goldberg to come back and bitch him out, a couple times. Beat him twice, beat him up in the Rumble. It would just ruin Lesnar for good. Lesnar needs his revenge, so it's quite clear that Lesnar's going to beat Goldberg for the championship. And then my question is Lesnar going to defend the freaking thing until SummerSlam? And maybe once, maybe. So I fear for it. I fear. And Fast Lane is just, the whole show of Fast Lane was just very, very, it feels like they're just undoing all of their good work. Owens and Jericho started something great. They've undone all the good work on Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns beating Braun Strowman. I feel like, you've kind of derailed the monster Braun Strowman a little bit, taking him back a notch. For Roman Reigns, does he really need a win? Maybe not. Could they have just done a DQ finish? Sure. And, Braun Strowman came out and said, hey, I've got unfinished business with Roman Reigns on Raw. But he lost. I mean, yeah, what unfinished business is there? You've lost. If there was a DQ or a double count out, and they got split up and said, hey, all right, match is over, go back to the back, and they didn't get to finish what they started, then you come out and say, hey, I got unfinished business. Fair enough, sure do, yeah, but not when you lost, not when you lost to Roman, so that was kind of silly. And by the way, look, a lot of negativity around surrounding Roman Reigns. It has been forever. Roman Reigns is perhaps, without a doubt, the most hated guy in WWE. And you can hate me, you can talk shit about me if you want, but I don't hate the guy. I don't hate Roman Reigns. Is he one of my favorites? For a while, maybe around the Shield days, I liked Roman Reigns. I thought he was pretty cool in the Shield. And for a while after the Shield, definitely, I thought he was pretty good as well. But, the direction of his character, I've just kind of, fallen off the Roman Reigns. And, I think his lack... I just feel like we're seeing the same kind of matches out of Roman Reigns. And, look, John Cena had the same matches all the time. Ric Flair, he comes out, he openly says, hey, I try the same match every night if I could. Guys, do that. But I just feel like, nowadays you even see Cena trying to bring out a new move here and there and, switch it up a bit. I just feel like we're not getting that out of Roman Reigns as much. It might be time for him just to kind of do a few different things, switch a few things up. He did switch up his attire, came out with the white on the boots, and that was really strange. So he definitely looked quite odd. But, yeah, look, it's disappointing. It's disappointing that, Strowman lost, because I'm really enjoying Braun Strowman. And I thought that they might keep his... I don't know is he undefeated? He may be, or he might have lost some kind of bullshit way since coming to Raw. But I thought they might have kept that going, perhaps for SummerSlam. And, if Lesnar still is champ, then I think obviously Strowman and Lesnar would be a great match and a great time to get Braun Strowman involved in the world title picture. But it doesn't seem to be the case. So, look, I'm not going to spend too much about it. It was a decent match. But like I said... would have liked to see Strowman get that win and keeps his momentum going, and maybe he goes on to the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, runs through the whole competition there, wins that thing, and just kind of sets himself up for later in the year, but I guess not. The other decision that I found was strange was Nia Jax losing. I get it now that they want to have Sasha look good for the rivalry, but I thought the plan was maybe a fatal four-way, but Nia Jax seems to be being left out in the cold here. I mean, what's going on there? She's been heavily involved. She loses to Sasha. Now, all of a sudden, she's out of the title picture. So, that's a little odd. That's a little strange that that went down. But, look, I think Nia Jax is a little unlucky. I think her promos are really, really bad. I think, really, the only women who can cut a promo in the company is Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. And, funny enough, they've been, the vocal points of both brands for a while now. Bayley cannot cut a promo. She is horrible. Bayley just frustrates me. I cannot stand her anymore. I just cannot stand. She is getting close to going on my shit list, and that's something that doesn't happen often. But she is someone that I see her on my TV, and I nearly get tempted to change the channel because I mean, look, I'm not 12. I'm not 12 years old. I'm not meant to like her character, really. It's not really kind of aimed towards me. So, yeah, I'm just not liking it at all. But Bayley beating Charlotte for the undefeated pay-per-view streak was ridiculous. It was a joke. You got to be kidding me. Why not have Charlotte win by DQ? Just, Sasha Banks gets herself involved in the match. This time the referee sees it. Bayley gets disqualified, and Charlotte wins, to set up the rematch for WrestleMania. But why have Charlotte lose her undefeated record? Because now you just took away one major element from their WrestleMania match. And the commentators, you watch Fast Lane, and this was the perfect example of the commentary team being horrible. Commentators didn't even bring it up, didn't even act excited, didn't even treat it like a big deal that Bayley beat Charlotte. When she ended her undefeated streak, she defended her title. Finally, Charlotte has lost on pay-per-view in a singles match. Commentators didn't give a shit. So why am I supposed to care? And look, like I said, I've been going back and watching old Raws and Smackdowns, and I know JR is an absolute legend, and he's the man, but JR would have been screaming at the top of his lungs, saying, "Oh my God, Bayley ended the streak," so it just, you need these commentators to sell these situations to get them over and make it seem like a big deal, but we don't even mention it at all. It's just like, oh my God, why bother? Well, why does WWE bother doing any of these things, with the commentators and people involved don't make it seem like a big deal. So now, WrestleMania, well, it could have been a triple threat for the women's title, maybe a fatal four-way, and you could have had Charlotte, trying to defend her undefeated record in a tough environment, tough match. Instead, well, that's gone. Now we just have a title match. Bayley defended, Charlotte, so you take away a major element of the match, and a bit of unpredictability, towards it. I get it. Most people expected Charlotte to lose at WrestleMania, but that's fine. If she did, that's perfectly fine, because that's something you lose at WrestleMania. Same with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, if he was going to lose, you do it at WrestleMania. You build someone up all this time. Could have been Roman Reigns, could have been anyone. You build them up and build them and build them. Maybe it would have been, for example, Samoa Joe. I don't know, anyone. You build them up and then they lose, and Braun Strowman loses to them at WrestleMania. It's a big deal, the biggest stage of them all, and something big goes down, a big win happens. Instead, they give it away at Fast Lane. At Fast Lane, arguably one of the worst pay-per-views on the calendar year ever since it's come in. And this year was another shitty Fast Lane. The rest of the card, I don't even care. Look, it felt like Raw. New Day coming out. Look, the New Day, talk about shit list. New Day, probably 2 shows away from being on my shit list. I cannot stand them anymore. I am done with the New Day. I am done with them. I could not care about them any less. Finished. New Day, don't care. Done. I've liked the New Day in the past, when they were on top for the first 6 months. They were great. They were funny. They were entertaining. Now it's cringy. Now it's horrible. It's rehashed bullshit. They come up with the same catchphrase. Instead of Bootios, it's now ice cream. Get some new material. Do something different. Otherwise, go away. Because it's clear, they've got nothing for the New Day to do. So they come up with this ice cream gimmick to try and, give them an excuse to be on the show. And what, at WrestleMania, they're going to finally reveal ice cream and give away ice cream, or they're going to have a giant ice cream they're going to pop out of? I don't know. But them hosting WrestleMania is going to be terrible, because they have not been funny for a long time. They haven't been entertaining for a long time. I'm really done with the New Day. Just done with them. And it's a shame, because they had a great run. New Day have been great. Top merch seller, really gone from nothing to something major in the company, and they've been terrific. And 3 of them as talents, I think Big E, to be honest, I would see as the most upside. I think Kofi Kingston, a little up there in age now, his singles career has kind of been, played out, been there, done that. I don't see him ever being a top guy again. Whereas Big E never really got much of a chance, his short little IC title run, but never got that much of a chance to kind of make it as a solo guy. And I think Xavier Woods is just kind of too small and maybe not good enough in the ring to really warrant that push. Yeah, he's a good talker, and perhaps manager is the way to go for him, but I don't see him ever getting that singles push. It might just be Big E. So, I don't know, what can you do with the New Day? Do you split them up? Or do you just kind of ride this out and try and milk it for as long as you can until you find something else for them to do? Give them a chance at the tag titles down the line. I don't know. But it's whatever they're doing right now, it's not good. I don't like it. I'm done with the New Day. And I'm done with Fast Lane. I think I would give it about a 3.5 out of 10. And that you might be saying, hey, that's a harsh rating. It may be. It may be a harsh rating, but I really didn't enjoy much about it. And that's strange, because normally I'm always finding something that I'm really liking about a pay-per-view. But this time, no, I just didn't like it. Didn't like it. I'm really starting to not like Raw more and more and more. And I'm really starting to like Smackdown even more. Smackdown is looking amazing in comparison now. And I guess it's great. At least we have one show every week that's really good to watch. And it's thank God. Thank God for that. Because otherwise, I don't know what else we would do. There's no real alternative. Do we go to watch Ring of Honor or TNA? I mean, not really. We need something. And I know it's fabricated competition, but it still feels like 2 different products. That's the thing. I can't believe it. When you watch SmackDown, and the storylines are intriguing, they make sense, they last long periods of time. The booking is smart. The way they set up a feud, the way they conduct and build and tell a story is so much better than anything Raw does. And Raw, the matches they have is just repetitive. It's just repetition over and over. Smackdown is guilty of it too. Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch, but they're kind of putting a hard spot there, to be fair. But look, just for example in SmackDown, The Miz and Cena, that back and forth is terrific. Really enjoying that. They've even made me like Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose's rivalry. Two guys that I don't care about at the moment. I've been a Dean Ambrose fan for a while, but I've kind of really cooled off him lately as well. So they've even made me enjoy that one. They probably haven't got me there with Dolph Ziggler and Mojo Rawley yet, but they've got some time. The only thing I really see concerning on SmackDown is the tag division is really, really poor. And that's not so much their fault. It's just the talent and the guys that were on the division. Raw got all the top tag teams, SmackDown got one. So it's kind of hard to build a division around one decent team. So it's tough, but they're going to have to try and find a way. The revival, that they bring them up to try and save the day, maybe. Because at the moment, I don't even know if there is going to be a tag team title match at WrestleMania. If there is, I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be on the pre-show, and that's where it deserves to be. Probably a multi-man match in the pre-show, because what else could they really do? What else will people really somewhat care about? The only team that's worth anything is, the Usos and American Alpha. They're two good teams, but the rest are really, really far below them, and that's very concerning. Everything else in SmackDown, though, even the women's division, we kind of talked about the women's division always being stronger on Raw, because, got Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, Nia, etc. But now, I think Alexa Bliss, haven't really talked about it too much, because she hasn't really impressed me that much, but the last month or so, the way she carries herself is, she feels like a champion. She may not have the size, but she carries herself like a champion. She acts like a champion. She acts like she's a big deal. And I really have been impressed by her. So I'm starting to really, jump on board. I'm a little late, but, Alexa Bliss bandwagon, I think is, might have room for one more. I think she's been terrific. And now what they're going to do on SmackDown, I know we're jumping around a little bit because, look, to be honest, Raw is just not that interesting to really talk about at the moment. But now they're doing the multi-women match at WrestleMania. I think that's a good idea. Mickie James turning on Alexa, I think probably a bit too soon. But I guess when you think about it, she's going to get a title shot. Alexa Bliss wouldn't give her a title shot, so she, feels, hey, you kind of betrayed me a little bit. I can understand why. I get it. I understand why that went down. But the other question is, who else is going to be in that championship match? I think a surprise return for Naomi will probably be on the cards in that one. Natalya, Carmella, Bliss, Lynch, and James all in it. The only real other option might be Tamina. Snuka could get a spot. And also, well, I don't even know what's going on with her, but Eva Marie. Eva Marie might come back for a WrestleMania spot and be in that match and just not have to really do that much. That, or they might even bring up a NXT woman. But it is SmackDown women, so maybe that's not going to happen. But that's certainly going to be intriguing. So, hey, there's a little bit of, hey, what's going to happen at WrestleMania? Who's going to show up? Who's going to be part of the match? That's a little bit of excitement about that. So, and I think that'll be a good match. I think that'll be something to watch. I guess we will transition back to Raw now. Jericho and Kevin Owens, it is official. That's going to happen at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. Look, it's a great match. We've talked about it for a while now. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. I just felt as though the Universal Championship involved would have elevated the match a little bit more and given it perhaps more time and more spotlight that it really deserved. Because you think about it, this is without a doubt maybe Randy and Bray as well, but this is the most built-up storyline, the longest storyline heading into the show. I mean, yes, Seth Rollins and Triple H, but 4 segments in 8 months isn't really much of a build, is it? But this has been, on the cards for a while now. So Jericho and Owens, I think, is going to be great. I really hope they tear the house down. We don't know how many WrestleManias Jericho has got left, so it's great to see him in a high-profile match again. Austin Aries is officially a part of the Cruiserweight division. He'll be coming after Neville, as expected, for WrestleMania. And can I just say, thank God. Gallagher and Neville put on a good match at Fast Lane. Most people saying that was the match of the night. Not hard really, but it's not a great night in terms of matches. But Gallagher was a good hand. It was good for that position for a while there. And they've kind of really tried as many guys as they can to spotlight them. They've kind of just thrown something at the wall, and they're seeing who sticks. Gallagher, he stuck for a while, and he's okay. But I think the real deal is Austin Aries and Neville. So now we're going to see the two biggest guys in this division fight it out, battle it out, and I think that's exciting. I think that's great. Obviously, I'd love to see Grand Metalik get more of an opportunity. Maybe that'll happen after WrestleMania. I can only hope. But Austin Aries is the real deal. Austin Aries, TNA World Champion, Ring of Honor champ. He's done it all around the world. Now it's time for him to make his mark here in WWE. He's old, yes, late 30s, in this Cruiserweight division. But you listen to Austin Aries' promo on 205 Live, and it's like our Lord and Savior has come to save this Cruiserweight division. A guy who can actually cut a promo, a guy who's actually interesting, who's entertaining, is here to be a part of the division and help save this damn thing. Austin Aries, he is maybe the guy they need to save this. I don't know if one man can save the division, but it's a start. And Neville and Aries at WrestleMania, I think, will be lots of fun. I think that match will be awesome, to be honest. Just be interesting to see if they kind of change the ropes for this match and do all that crap. But Cruiserweight Championship might finally have a big breakout moment, and that is Aries and Neville. I think if they give that match some time, it'll be awesome. And it'd be great to see Austin Aries in the ring again. I personally missed out on seeing him in December when I went to NXT. I was so pumped to see him. And he probably might have still been in NXT. If he didn't get injured, would he be here on the Cruiserweight division? Maybe not. I doubt it, because I think NXT kind of needs an Austin Aries. So, yeah, I doubt it. But, look, I think it's great. He gets a spot. I mean, and it's a perfect way to kind of introduce him as a top guy in a big fish in a small pond, but still give him a chance to get that spotlight on 205 Live and on Raw every week as well. So it's a smart call. It's the right move. Undertaker returns at the end of Raw to kind of approach Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. I think we've all kind of felt as though it's going to be Reigns and Undertaker, so we felt as though it might happen at Fast Lane. And I got the feeling when Braun Strowman called out Reigns and the music wasn't hitting, I felt like Undertaker was going to come out, and there he was. Strowman didn't want anything to do with him, but after that, Reigns got in his face. Actually, when Strowman didn't want anything to do with him, I turned the channel. I thought, all right, Raw's over now. That'll do. And I thought, okay. But then I flicked back on for whatever reason, and Roman Reigns is in Undertaker's face, cutting a promo. So I was like, oh shit, okay, well, this is still going. So is it going to be a triple threat? Is it going to be one-on-one? I guess we'll find out. But look, let's just say it is a triple threat. That would be a smart idea. You let Reigns, you let Strowman, let them work majority of the match. Undertaker can clean up at the end. He can, have a spot here or there and get taken out. Protect him a little bit more. Help him get through it a little bit better. One-on-one match, Reigns and Undertaker. There's a big chance that that they won't get the reaction that they want. Reigns is going to get booed out of the building at WrestleMania, big time. And if Roman Reigns beats The Undertaker at WrestleMania, well, I feel like you've got to turn him heel, because people are going to never forgive him for that. People are going to hate Roman Reigns somehow, even more than they already do. I don't know how, I don't know if that's possible, but it could definitely happen. So it's risky. It's risky doing that match, especially risky having Reigns win. Will he win if it's a one-on-one match? I think you want to hope so. I think if you had Reigns beat The Undertaker, turn heel, you could have the top heel in the company right there and there. Done. Forget about it. It's finished. Right there, Roman Reigns, your top heel, because people already hate the guy. Which is the thing, if people already hate someone, why not run with it? People already hated Eva Marie, So they made a heel, an obnoxious heel, and annoying, and just, someone that you couldn't stand. So they went with it. It'd be like having Eva Marie right now come out and try and be Bayley. Hug kids and kiss kids and be the hero. It's never going to work because people hate her. But that's exactly what Roman Reigns is. He's a guy who comes out, he acts like a tough guy and a badass, which is cool and all, but he's still, he's trying to do right by the world and, trying to be the hero when no one wants him to be their hero and everyone hates him. So, to be honest, I think if this was probably anyone else, let's say this is Dolph Ziggler, Ziggler would be getting turned and he would be a heel right now. But I guess because it's Roman Reigns and they've got such high hopes for him, a lot of ambition, a lot of desire to make him their top babyface, they're a little reluctant to kind of pull the trigger on that. And, look at John Cena. How long has he how many opportunities has he had to turn heel? It's never happened. So I hope we don't get a repeat of John Cena with Roman Reigns, but it's very possible they're going to be stubborn. Unless, like they say, WWE doesn't really care if it's negative or positive reaction anymore. They just care if you make some noise. So if Reigns is getting no reaction every time he comes out, then they might do something. If Cena got zero reaction every time he came out, then they might do something. But when Cena and Reigns, well, whether it be boos or cheers, they just see that as money. And he's still, I think, a top 5 merch seller as well. So, I guess the stats don't lie, and they just don't really care, and they're happy with the direction they're going in, and that's where they're going to stay. You got to give WWE credit. I think the fans, ever since the Daniel Bryan thing, definitely think they can influence the show a lot more than they used to, and I think they're trying their best to get them to de-push Roman Reigns and get him out of the world title pictures and get him out of the main events. But, speaking of main events, Reigns main eventing Raw again. He continues to main event every week, which is a little odd because I guess, the third hour is the worst hour and they want to have a strong second hour beginning and opening hour of Raw. So maybe they feel as though Reigns is a safe choice, to put him in the final hour. But, I think it kind of is a little redundant, having Reigns in the main event all the time of Raw, especially when he's not even Universal Champion. I mean, does that mean that Reigns is better than, the Universal title? No, I wouldn't put it that far, but it definitely kind of makes Reigns seem like a major deal, and maybe not so much Kevin Owens or, now Goldberg, who probably should be in the main event. But of course, Goldberg's not going to wrestle, so. But that's basically my Raw recap. Not a lot much else really went down on Raw. Smackdown, like I said, loving Cena and Miz, really, really good again this week. They continue to make that great. I like with the multi-women's match. I think that's a good start and a good way to kind of utilize all the women on the show and get them on the card at WrestleMania. Orton and Bray Wyatt is official. Randy Orton beat AJ Styles, which I really enjoyed that match as well. Finally got to see Randy and AJ Styles. I think that's a match that would be great on pay-per-view down the line, and I don't mind them giving it away now because it's a big deal. Number one contender to determine the, who takes on the world champion at WrestleMania. That's a big deal. That is a big deal, and we see those types of matches on the road to WrestleMania all the time. So you're thinking, well, they should have saved that for pay-per-view. Maybe, but, it's the start of a potential chapter to come. So I think AJ and Randy for the championship down the line would be terrific. I think that'd be great. So happy that they went with the Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton direction. I think a triple threat throwing AJ Styles in there just wouldn't be right. Speaking of AJ, he and Shane McMahon had a heated confrontation backstage after SmackDown when Smack Talk was on. So they really got heated, and it seems as though they've now beginning to plant the seeds for that match, which, look, a lot of people aren't very excited for. A lot of people aren't really that keen about. And I don't really get WWE's fascination over it either. I think AJ Styles could be suited elsewhere, but if they need to have Shane McMahon on the card, I guess who else better to work with Shane than AJ Styles? Let's be honest. But so we kind of talked about SmackDown throughout the show. Once again, I'm enjoying it. Once again, SmackDown's terrific. It really is. It really is great. A little surprised the Whites didn't come out when Randy won the match. That was my only real surprise. Thought that would happen. And I thought maybe we might see an Eric Rowan appearance. We might be seeing him soon. Kind of tease that the Randy Orton's been replaced already by Eric Rowan. I would probably go with that direction. Randy's been replaced by Eric, and maybe even try and get Luke Harper back in, because I really couldn't believe that Harper split from Bray. I thought that was a little silly, but whatever. But anyway, SmackDown was good again, and it's really great, to, like I said, to have some wrestling that is really good to watch. An update on last week, we said that Jack Swagger was done, gone, see you later. Well, it doesn't seem to be the case. Apparently he's not been released, but he's been advertised for some indie shows, so look, who knows? Who knows what's going on with him? But to be honest, who cares? Who cares? If he's gone, he's gone. If he's not, well, good for him. He managed just to hang on for a little while longer, but it's delaying inevitable. He's got no future in the WWE. Speaking of the future, the Hall of Fame coming up before WrestleMania. Another inductee announced this week, and it is Rick Rude. Now, look, I didn't follow wrestling in the 80s, and I watched bits and pieces of it in the 90s. Early 90s and 80s, I really don't have much knowledge about it all. But, I hear people bring up Rick Rude all the time, how great Rick Rude was. You go back and you watch Rick Rude, some of his promos he's done. He was terrific, great worker. A little unlucky not to win the World Championship. I believe Hulk Hogan didn't want to work with him or whatever back in the day. In WWE, but of course he won it in WCW, which I actually didn't know that he did. I didn't think he won the world title ever, but he won it in WCW, which is great. So, look, Rick Rude, you look at Rick Rude, I think he has the greatest physique I've ever seen in wrestling. The guy, just unbelievable. It was just abnormal, freakishly amazing, his physique. And I know that's a little odd thing to say from me, coming from me, but look, physique is a big deal when it comes to wrestling. It's like movies and anything, the look is just as, big as the ability. If you've got the look, you're halfway there. A lot of wrestlers get by on their looks alone, not on their work or, ring ability, but Rick Rude had it both. Rick Rude was just a great all-round wrestler. And, you talk about a Hall of Famer. Rick Rude has kind of been, the fans have wanted to see Rick Rude in for years. A long time. So it's great to see him finally get in. So he's joining, this year's Hall of Fame class is actually really, really good. Really good. How many more people are going to go in? I don't know. Maybe a couple more. Normally they might induct an old school wrestler that people aren't too familiar with. But they've got a lot of big names, obviously Angle's in there, DDP, that'll be the two headline speeches, I would say. Obviously Rick Rude's not with us anymore, so they normally put someone in who's passed away, for example Macho Man in recent years, they normally put someone in, so probably Rick Rude will fill that spot this year. I want to know who's going to win the Warrior Award as well. I mean, I've kind of been very negative on the Warrior Award. I mean, it turned into an award that I really felt as though they kind of went away from the direction that Ultimate Warrior wanted to go. And I don't even know who won it last year. Was there been at least two people who won it? I don't even know. But, I think they need to definitely... look, for example, like the Brooklyn Brawler. I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's a guy who put a lot of work in behind the scenes in WWE and kind of really put in a lot of years, as a wrestler and as an agent. He's a guy who could definitely warrant that award. A referee who might not get in, or, someone who, a cameraman, I don't know, someone who's just put in all the years. I'd like to see that happen this year rather than, just giving a sick kid the award or whatever. And, it's no disrespect to that, but, I'd like to see that award actually used for what it is. But anyways, the Hall of Fame, like I said, really shaping up to be good. Probably expect another couple inductees before it's all said and done, but... maybe the only one I would really probably say is Beth Phoenix, that she deserved to be in there, but we kind of discussed that in recent weeks. But, I think for the most part, it's looking pretty promising. Speaking of looking promising, Ring of Honor had a bit of a good week this week. The Hardy Boys in Ring of Honor, as is Bully Ray, or Bubba Ray Dudley. The Hardys and Bully Ray in Ring of Honor, that's a couple of good gets for Ring of Honor. And I got to say, when I think of Ring of Honor and I think of Bully Ray in it, I feel like it's an odd pairing. I feel like it doesn't fit. I feel like it's not right. The Hardys, it's the same as well, but it's not to that extent. But, well, we talked about it as the Hardys going to come to WWE. Now they're Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. It's possible that that's not going to happen, but apparently their contract's going to end just before WrestleMania, so we don't know. It's just all up in the air at the moment. Nobody really knows what's going on, but it's probably looking unlikely that they may make the jump. Who knows? Maybe after WrestleMania they do it. Who knows? But Bully Ray, I'm a little surprised he's not with WWE. I get it, they probably didn't want to have him as a singles, but Devon took on an agent role, and Bully Ray, I guess he just wants to keep wrestling, and decided to go elsewhere. I mean, he's tempted to go back to TNA, but decided, Impact Wrestling, whatever, but went to Ring of Honor instead, and I guess that's, commendable. It's something different. He's kind of done the Impact Wrestling thing, so why not do something else? But although, Impact Wrestling could definitely use a Bully Ray, a bit more star power, despite being up there in age, but like I said, they've kind of been there and done that with Bully. He spent a lot of years in TNA, so it's fair enough that he wanted something different. And speaking of TNA or Impact Wrestling, whatever the hell you want to call them, I want to praise them this week. It's hard to kind of get into it too much because some people, the three of you might watch TNA or listen to this show, but there's a few spoilers I'm going to give away here. So if you don't want to hear it, skip 5 minutes. We'll skip 3 minutes. But TNA picked up some great names throughout the week, and I think they've made some great changes. Like I said, Dutch Mantell and Jeff Jarrett, I feel as though are starting to get things right. And I feel like TNA is really starting to show some promising signs for the first time in a while. So here's the spoiler. So they picked up Alberto Del Rio, or El Patron, whatever. So they got Del Rio. He's the world champion now in the promotion, which I think is probably the right move. Giving the belt straight away. Yeah, you can argue that's not a good call, but whatever. But they've got him. He's still in his the tail end of his career in terms of his prime, but he's still got some name value. I felt as though they probably should have got a Wade Barrett, a Ryback, a Cody Rhodes, given Damien Sandow a bit more of a serious gimmick as well, and Del Rio, and that's not a bad group of wrestlers right there. Obviously, they had Cody Rhodes come in for a little bit, but he's not permanent. Maybe they can try and get him in again. I think Ryback was given a deal, but he's not interested in doing anything yet. And Wade Barrett, who knows? Probably, who cares? But yeah, I mean, look, it's TNA could pick up a few guys. If Jack Swagger left, I wouldn't even be opposed to him going there. They could pick up a few guys and just start to rebuild. Try and make the best of a bad situation and try to turn things around. And they've made some positive changes. They've made some good starts, some good strides. So I wish them all the best. It's good. It's there's been some rumors that they might even get back on Spike TV. I know they're on Spike UK now. They struck that deal, and that's great. They've now got a UK deal, which UK was a big presence for TNA, which is great. So I hope that's really the last thing they need to do. They've got to improve their roster. Yes, they've done a few things like that to kind of do it, but the TV deal has to change. Pop TV is going nowhere. If they can somehow get back on Spike, they might just be able to have a chance again. Maybe get back to 500 to 1 million viewers, which is just a dream at the moment for TNA. That's never going to happen, but it could be possible if they could somehow get their way back on Spike. You never know. And look, from what I've read, I haven't read a lot of the spoilers, but I've read a couple little things that's happened. I'm interested in watching it and checking it out. I really am. And I haven't been interested in seeing anything TNA related in a long time. So it's good science. It's great science for TNA. So I think it's time we probably try and support their new change. If they're trying seriously, they brought in a lot of different guys to run the creative. Dixie Carter's no longer there. Dutch Mantell and Jeff Jarrett, I think that's a good fit, good pairing. Those guys were in charge when TNA was at its best. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's positive signs for TNA, at least for the short term. How long will this last? We'll have to wait and see. All right, so we've got a few questions before we get out of here for this week's show, and we'll head over to them right now. So the first one comes from Michael Ernie. Do you think Roman Reigns has a chance to beat Undertaker at WrestleMania? Of course he has a chance, but look, if Undertaker loses again, I think it's going to put a big damper on his legacy. I think his legacy has already been tarnished enough as it is. I think having the streak broken was kind of like the last piece of the Undertaker puzzle. It had to be broken, I think, unless he was going to retire. I mean, 25-0 sounded pretty good, but look, he probably needs to lose at this point. Give back. He's beaten everyone over the last, 20 years. Give back a little bit. Maybe lose to Roman Reigns. Put him over as a top heel. It could work, and I'd be okay for it. But if Reigns is not going to turn heel and he beats Undertaker, well, just forget about it. It would just be disastrous. Thomas Bella, who would I like to see Kevin Owens feud with after WrestleMania? Well, I would have said Finn Balor for the Universal Championship, but now I don't know. Now I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but it's not going to be a championship involved. The Universal title won't be involved because Finn Balor, so Kevin Owens is not going to be world champ. So is Finn Balor going to feud with Brock Lesnar? I mean, possible, but yeah, so it's hard to say. He's got another one as well. Which WWE superstar do you think would be the best drinking partner? Well, I've heard Chris Jericho is the life of the party. I've heard Jericho will drink anyone, drink anyone on the table. He'll go out all the time. He's like the party guy. I think a lot of WWE wrestlers these days, play video games, just chill out. Not real out and going party dudes. So, and Jericho's one of those last guys. So if I'm gonna drink with someone, I think Jericho might be the guy. From Cameron Fox, he says, "What's your favorite wrestling match of all time?" And that's a hard question. I mean, wrestling match of all time. I think you kind of have to think about eras. What's your favorite wrestling match from the Attitude Era, from the Ruthless Aggression Era? You have to kind of pinpoint it, and that's like one that I have to really consider. Plus, I've got a shocking memory as well. But he's left a lot of other questions. For example, how do you feel about Goldberg winning the title after 22 seconds? It's a joke. It's a joke, Cameron. You can't have a world champion, who can't even wrestle for more than 2 minutes in a match. I mean, Goldberg, at least back in WCW, could go 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if it pushed by a top guy. He could go 10. But Goldberg looks great. His physique looks fantastic. For a guy who's 50 years old or 49, whatever the hell, he looks fantastic. But I guess he's not in ring shape. He can't go. He can't go long distance. I heard rumors that he's didn't go long distance because they don't want to risk injury, which I get it. But surely you could have him take a couple of bumps. Have Kevin Owens, who I would say is a very safe worker, push him around a little bit, roll around in the ring for 5-10 minutes, then lose. I get it. If Goldberg beats Kevin Owens in 10 minutes and makes Brock Lesnar look even more like a joke, but you can just say, hey, they've been saying that it was just a fluke. Lesnar underestimated him and he got lucky. So why do that to Kevin Owens? But whatever. It's done. Who's my favorite ring announcer? From Thomas Speller again. It's got to be Howard Finkel. He's a legend. He's great. Always has enthusiasm. Always delivers. The UFC's announcer, is it Michael Buffer or is it Bruce Buffer? I think it's Bruce Buffer. He's awesome. He's also really good. I know he's not WWE. Michael Buffer sucks though. He's horrible. He's horrible. He really, really bad. But obviously Howard Finkel, he's the man. He's great. And I like Justin Roberts before he left too. I thought he was good. That's why I was surprised that he was gone, because I thought he was good. And I don't think they've got anyone who's good enough since. JoJo, is okay. Lillian Garcia was alright. Tony Chimmel, I think he was pretty decent too. I always enjoyed him. But whenever I think of Smackdown, I think he's one of the guys that I think of. He was the announcer of Smackdown, and it would be it's kind of strange not to have him on there as the announcer. But there's definitely been some good ones, but that's to name a few. Final question. This is a question I get asked nearly every week, but I will answer it. Anthony Kraus or Kraus, I don't know how to say it. Kraus or Cross. Sorry about that, Anthony. Who's your favorite wrestler? Well, funny enough, actually, if you check my Twitter, my girlfriend's sister, for Christmas, but Christmas was 3 months ago now, but I haven't seen her since Christmas. Well, for a while to get the present, but she got me a present, and if you check on my Twitter, it's it's like a picture that you put on the wall. Got a piece of the ring in it, and it's got Bobby Roode on it. It's like a little an NXT Takeover Toronto. It's like a limited edition little poster, put on the wall. But she got me that, and it's because Bobby Roode's my favorite wrestler. Bobby Roode's my favorite wrestler right now. He's the man, and I don't watch NXT as much as I should, but every time I see Bobby Roode wrestle, I am very happy. And he's one guy that, I would definitely go out of my way to watch NXT for. There's no one else really in the main roster that I'm kind of, that I tune every week and say, man, I cannot wait to see this guy wrestle. Which is a shame because, back in the day, I'd say, man, I cannot wait to see Batista, Triple H, Undertaker. These guys are my guys. I cannot wait. But now, as a collective whole, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to watch Smackdown. But it's not like, well, I can't wait to watch Bray Wyatt. That's the thing. So it's good to, I kind of miss having a couple of go-to wrestlers as my favorites. I would have to say who's my favorite on the main roster. I'd have to rattle off a number of guys. I couldn't tell you one guy. I couldn't. But definitely Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is my favorite right now. I'm really liking the gimmick. Just love it. And Nakamura is one of my favorites as well. But we're running out of time. That's all we have time for this week's edition of the podcast. Thank you very much for bearing with me for another week. It's been a pretty tiring week. I'm slowly getting my sleep pattern on schedule, but doing this podcast quite late, so I'm pretty much going to ruin it right now. But thank you very much for listening in. Extreme Rules this weekend. I'm going to go away and get busy, try and get this pay-per-view done for you guys to watch live. Hopefully it goes all smooth. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be fun. I think the matches are going to be great. And obviously some stipulation involved. It can't go too bad. Surely it can't suck too much. So I thank you again for listening in, and I hope you all have a great week. Please do leave a question for next week's episode in the comment section of the YouTube video or over on the Facebook page. We generally post the Facebook questions after Smackdown every Wednesday. Or Tuesday, sorry. Wednesday for me, but Tuesday for you guys. Or if not, it's generally posted on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. And make sure you like the Facebook page while you're there so you don't miss anything from me. And also follow me on Twitter at BrendenPlayz to stay up to date with everything to do with myself. And I'm always posting about wrestling, sport, whatever, gaming, whatever. So if you're interested in what I have to say about anything in life, check out my Twitter. And also, if you want to know the full card for Extreme Rules, there will be a video coming out on my channel in the next couple of days. But also, if you want to know, just check out the website, BrendenPlayz.com, and head over to the Extreme Rules page, and you can see it right there. And why not? Join the forums, BrendenPlayz.com/forums while you are there. It is absolutely free. And join up to discuss all the latest in wrestling, movies, TV, sport, gaming, you name it, over on the forums. And I'm always on there, so you can have a chat with me and have a chat with many other wrestling fans. We have a lot of great people in the forum, so if you are on the forum, shout out to you. You're a legend, and I need to spend more time in there. I kind of been a little busy. I've got to get back on there a little bit more, so join up the forums and we can have a discussion about all the latest WWE over there and much, much more. But I'm rambling now. That's all from me. I hope you all have a great week. I'll see you all next Thursday for another edition on the Let's Talk Thursdays podcast.